the CRA's latest macro review report released for the month of June 2024, we look at the public sector and ask the question, do we have a value for money public sector in South Africa? Firstly, we look at an overview of South Africa's civil service, with 95% of all personal income tax paid by 30% of taxpayers and 97% of all corporate income tax paid by just 3.5% of companies. After the 2024 elections, the South African government enjoys a rare opportunity to investigate and change where it spends limited taxpayer resources, one of those areas being the public sector and the public sector wage bill. According to figures from the National Treasury, 37,839 public sector workers earn more than 1 million rand annually. In addition, total compensation of public sector employees climbed from 408 billion rand in 2013-14 to 721 billion rand in 2023-2024. This places significant pressure on an already constrained fiscus. And adding to that fiscal pressure are rising debt servicing costs, along with public sector wage increases, with further raises being pushed for by labor unions. There is a growing risk of funding being diverted from other departments and national priorities, such as infrastructure, to service the country's debt and to foot the public sector wage bill. With the African National Congress having lost its national majority in the 2024 general election, the political status quo has shifted. The newly formed government of national unity, which the ANC established with 10 other parties, including the market-friendly Democratic Alliance, means that the country could soon move in a more positive, or different at least, policy direction. However, this change in policy direction would mean little should the size and role of the public sector remain unchanged. The politicization of the public service should be replaced by the professionalization thereof. Indeed, the new executive is bigger than previous iterations, 32 ministers with 43 deputy ministers. In outlining the priorities for the post-2024 election government, Centers for Development and Enterprise Executive Director Anne Bernstein draws attention to a 2024 Public Service Commission report. Quote, "There is a lack of professional and technical skills in the public service, and many officials see their role as enforcing rules rather than achieving outcomes." According to the head of the Public Service Commission, the public sector does not exhibit, quote, "the astuteness, agility, capacity, or single-mindedness to do its best for the country," end quote. At the time of writing, on the 28th of June, the Public Service Amendment Bill and the Public Administration Management Amendment Bill are sitting with the National Council of Provinces, having been approved by the National Assembly. These pieces of legislation provide some measure towards extracting political poison from the public service, but a lot rests on political will, implementation, and an understanding of why and how a professional, perhaps smaller public service best serves the goal of high economic growth. To borrow a phrase from the Zondo Commission report, quote, "Ultimately, in the view of the Commission, the primary national interest is best served when the government derives maximum value for money in the procurement process, and procurement officials should be so advised," end quote. For the seventh administration and the government of national unity, if it holds, meritocracy and value for money should inform reforms of the public sector, wages, and the role of the civil service in the broader economy.